tanks. Some programs are saving for tanks. They've been saving for tanks for 20 years. And they have in their mind why tanks are good. What's great about the Swingulator is that you have information that you may not have on a tank. You have the monitor that gives you your power feedback. You have a very accurate arc measurement and stroke length. Easy for the coach to move around and have hands-on and make corrections either at the end of the oar or standing right next to the athlete.
What I like best about the Swingulator is the stability of the platform for teaching, particularly new rowers, and then doing more fine-tuning with our varsity level rowers.
The key to the Swingulator is it supports the way that my coaching styles, which is first I teach a pattern movement. And what I like about the Swingulator, where it's so valuable for me, is it's a pre-pattern movement.
I like the Swingulator more than the tanks for several reasons. One, the space. It just takes up less space, and it's a really nice thing to be able to have these in the same room where you have your ergs. Two, cost. To get a new set of tanks in any building is going to cost a decent amount of money that you have to fundraise for years and years for. And three, most importantly, is the direct feedback I'm going to get. Hands-on approach. I can walk up next to my athlete and adjust the way they're rowing, adjust their oar, adjust all those elements that I'm looking for, and they can still have the direct feedback of an erg.
For the students who are visual learners, it makes a big impact in a very short amount of time. You can do video right there, have them watch it. It's definitely improved our technical work. It's made our technical work that much more valuable on the water, and we are using a lot less time to make technical changes.
Let's say an athlete is opening the bag at the catch. I'll try for 45 minutes. I'll try every drill I know. It'll take me 2 minutes on the Swingulator to take them out of the water, put them on the Swingulator, go to the catch and do a few drills, and they can apply what you're trying to do right there on the Swingulator.
For our overall training program, we utilize the Swingulator in conjunction with our regular erg training. We'll do anywhere from long steady state pieces on it to anaerobic threshold work where they'll switch in and off the Swingulator to regular erg, and then also in their short sprint work. For everything, I use it for individual instruction, I use it for individual training where the athletes will have an additional workout to do perhaps in season or out of season, an aerobic workout. They can do their AT, they can do power workouts, they can do it together, being barred together, they can do it separately. I train exactly like it is on the water.
It's having them come in and instead of doing a 3x15 on the erg, they can do 3x15 on the Swingulator, get the same workout in. We can get more information, but they're able to do it with their pair partner. They're able to do it with the stroke seat if they sit further back in the boat.
Where the Swingulator helps is that you're able to actually watch athletes flow together. You're able to make combinations and see how it affects the acceleration of the boat, the length of the boat, the timing of the boat. And taking that raw data aside, you're able to actually watch the athlete and see what he or she does during an erg test. Does their technique deteriorate? Do they row shorter? Do they row longer? So it's very, very useful in identifying athletes, but also identifying combinations that work really well together.
But I want to see some numbers, and I want to see some data, and I also want to see some power curves that I use all winter, to teach in terms of the actual application. Well, again, same thing. You've got that transferability, and you can use that here as well.
You can also do who's going to be sitting in what seat. If I want the boat to be port rigged or starboard rigged, I can test to see who's going to be a good 7 or who's going to be a good stroke. And it's really nice for me to be able to have that measurement and have that information before I step out onto the water.
I really liked being able to combine both the measurement and the technique portion. On a stationary erg, you can have a lot of little tricks that get you low numbers without things that will really translate into boat speed, and you can't really get away with that on the Swingulator.
I like working on the Swingulator because it allows the coach to get very hands-on, and he or she can place the oar handle in the right position or your body.
I like that you just get so much feedback from seeing the power curve. You're not just on an erg where you don't really have that type of body swing, that body angle. I feel like it adds another dynamic that you really have to focus to actually nail the stroke.
A lot of really fun things that you can get as far as feedback from the machine, but I think it's a really good tool as an athlete to start a dialogue with a coach.
The ability to alter the pressure on the handle is priceless. By simply moving the rope, the coach or the athlete can effectively change the load on the oar from steady state pressure to the pressure they might feel during the first few strokes of a race. The water table and arc measurements have helped my athletes understand how slight body adjustments at the catch or the finish can add or subtract from the overall length of the stroke, and the arc angles give that feedback very clearly. The suspension trainer is amazing. It allows the athletes to feel suspension at any point in the drive, and it's something that's really hard to simulate in the boat or on an erg. And the connector bars provide the athletes with a really unique feeling of connection to any of the other athletes in the boat. You cannot move without your teammates, and this tool teaches that very clearly. Being able to use single seats, pairs, fours, or even entire eights, the ability to make any rowing configuration that you might on the water provides a specific freedom that tanks really simply can't allow.
What we look for, sometimes more than athleticism, if we don't have the luxury of selecting, is we look for athletes that have the desire to train hard and a desire to row well. And again, that's why this machine is really good, because you could put the athlete on the machine and teach them how to row correctly, and then you can kind of bring that out in them, that desire to train hard, to make changes, and to row together.